will take with President Trump as he is being escorted around the library for the opening. On the list here, there is a signing event that is to take place today as well. As I look at the clock, that was to take place just about 15-20 minutes or so ago. We do have this live image that we are being fed right now to us from NBC. Now, again, I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at there. A lemur? I'm not sure. But we will, in fact, go to the amphitheater. Is that what we're going to do, Brian, next? Or will we go ahead and take this shot? Okay. Well, earlier we told you about a farm family north of Minot preparing for President Trump's arrival. And Ryan Stevens now says he had an idea to cut the numbers 45 and 47 into his hay crop to commemorate Trump being the 45th and 47th president. He had hoped now the president would see if he flew into the Minot Air Force Base.
We'll probably won't ever get to meet him or anything, so we just wanted to show some respect to him, that we support him.
While the idea stemmed from Ryan, his dad, Lynn, did the cutting. Lynn says he had help from his granddaughter. He adds Farden Construction and Kyle Nelson help laser out the numbers for them.
How often does North Dakota get a president to come to the state? So I think this is the least we can do.
Lynn says it only took a few hours to carve the numbers. The Stevens plan to cut the field for hay once it grows back in. Well, from campaigns to commemorations, North Dakota has welcomed the Commander-in-Chief on many occasions. Joe Skrzyszewski brings us inside the history of the presidential visits to the Peace Garden State.
16 sitting presidents have visited our state at least once. The first one, Rutherford B. Hayes, in 1878, 11 years before North Dakota became a state. Donald Trump's 2018 visit, the most recent. Theodore Roosevelt returning to North Dakota as president in 1903. Video archives of presidential visits from the State Historical Society go back to the 1950s, when Dwight Eisenhower dedicated the Garrison Dam. In 1960, JFK came to North Dakota to support Quentin Burdick's Senate campaign, pushing for better ag prices and rights for the family farm.
If Congressman Burdick is elected, that it would be at least an indication that in North Dakota the policies followed by Mr. Benson have been unpopular, and that the farmers in this state desire a change.
Flash forward to 1986. Ronald Reagan stumped for Mark Andrews' Senate re-election.
In Mark Andrews, North Dakota has a senator who knows what it's like to meet a payroll. He is not a lifetime bureaucrat who doesn't know the difference between a cow and a combine.
Like now, that visit coming amid turmoil overseas. Reagan meeting with Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev over Cold War tensions prior to visiting the Peace Garden State. His successor, George H.W. Bush, addressing the people of North Dakota on the steps of the Capitol in 1989, ahead of the state's centennial. Bush discussing how Teddy Roosevelt's time in the Peace Garden State molded him into a leader and a steward.
All right, there we go. We've got a live shot now of President Trump and
the President will be doing a recording.
Secretary Doug Burgum,
Sunday, you'll hear his voice.
with the third being, I'm guessing,
it is
Robert
not the
Boff,
critic who
Executive
counts.
Director.
Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. President Trump is the man in the arena, and it's a thrill to have him here to help dedicate this presidential library today.
Well, thank you. It's really great being here. You've done a phenomenal job. And those words, I've heard them before many times, and nothing more beautiful, nothing more true. It's true. The man in the arena, or the woman in the arena, I guess we probably have to add on today. But it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be at this great museum, great library, great center, and it's a very special place. I think it's going to do very well. It's a part of the country that I love, and I think they love me because I have the all-time record in presidential voting, and that's an honor because they are the people that built America. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it, and we look forward to saying a few words later. We're going to be making a speech in a little while. And hopefully it will be representative of what they stand for out here and what Teddy stood for, because he stood for a lot. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
This kind of been the section on the presidents that he had. Now he's in that third party run. I think it's really meaningful moment.
All right, there you heard some remarks from President Trump on the Man in the Arena exhibit there at the new Roosevelt Museum that is opening. Some of the other exhibits that President Trump went through here, the train exhibit, the journal exhibit, the campfire exhibit, the AI President Theodore Roosevelt exhibit, and as you just saw, the Man in the Arena speech exhibit. I want to go now to the amphitheater where Joe Skrzyewski is patiently waiting by. Now, Joe, we just had President Trump in the museum itself. How has the atmosphere changed there at the amphitheater in the last half hour, an hour or so?
Hey Jay, I'd say the atmosphere here has gotten maybe a little restless. People are anxious and excited to on the rest of the program for the day and to hear the president's address and hear the other speakers who are here. I gotta say, it is pretty warm here, so the people who are here are doing everything that they can to try to stay cool, cover themselves up. Temperature is becoming a factor today for certain as we sit here and wait for the president's arrival. We are hoping as the day goes on, maybe we'll get a little bit of cover. Maybe as the sun starts to go down as the day goes on, temperature will come down a little bit. But right now we're a little after noon, so we're at one of the warmer points of the day. So we have some people here with using umbrellas for shelter. People putting shirts over their heads, and fortunately a lot of people have hats. I don't have a hat, of course, but a lot of people here have hats, so they're doing everything that they can to stay cool. The concession stand is inundated. One thing we did notice is that the escalator here at the Burning Hills Amphitheater is out of service. It appears to be broken. Law enforcement on scene said that it was also broken yesterday as well, so that has cut off one way for people to get up and down from the parking lot to the amphitheater. However, the elevators are still working as well, so it doesn't seem like the ebb and flow of human traffic in and out of the amphitheater has been greatly impacted by that, but obviously it would be nice if the escalator was working. So just for people, if anybody's moving in and out of this area, just keep in mind that that option is not on the table. But definitely, people here are probably getting a little restless, anxious, getting ready to welcome the president here. A few moments ago, they just played Thriller by Michael Jackson, so I was about ready to bust out into the Thriller dance. I'm kidding. I'm not going to dance for our viewers. But say the people here are roaring up and getting ready to welcome the president, Jay.
Well, Joe, I was just going to ask, how close is it for those that have never been to Medora, or at least recently, how close is the museum related to the amphitheater, and how long will it take the president to get there to the amphitheater?
Yeah, I mean, really, it shouldn't take too long for him to get here. Obviously, he has to come up in his motorcade, but the library is not that far from where we are right now. When the media took the buses up here earlier to re-enter the arena to begin our coverage for today, the buses were for the library and the amphitheater. It was all one and the same, so that shouldn't be too long of a wait unless something happens with the motorcade.
Joe, quick question for you. Are people treating this more like a historic moment, a political event, or maybe is it something in between that you're seeing?
Well, I hate to use this as a cop-out, but I would say it is a little bit of an in-between. You know, there's a lot of apparel and signs are largely prohibited, but there is a lot of people wearing Trump hats and Trump T-shirts in honor of the president. There's a lot of Trump supporters here, obviously. This is a speaking event for him, but it is very much an historic event for the people who are here. I think people here, at least the people that me and our reporter Hannah have talked with, have said that they came here because they felt a connection with President Roosevelt and his story of how he kind of became the person that he was meant to be in his time in North Dakota. So I think by and large, people came here because they wanted to be part of something special. They wanted to be part of a special event and be part of this once-in-a-lifetime event here in the Badlands.
Joe, are you seeing people from outside North Dakota more, or is this mostly a really local turnout?
Oh, yes. Oh, we're seeing some people from outside of North Dakota, obviously some from Montana, but we spoke with people from California. Hannah interviewed somebody from New York State just a little bit ago that is traveling and happened to be in North Dakota at this time, so they decided to come to this event. So we're seeing people really from all over the country who have come here, and even some people that are originally from other countries that now live in the United States but are native to other countries that have come here to take part in this historic event. So while this is a North Dakota event, we are seeing people here and talking with people who are from other states, including the east and west coasts.
Joe, what are people wanting to hear at this event today? What are they telling you?
Well, people are telling us that they would like to hear, the president's thoughts about North Dakota, and they would like to hear about Teddy Roosevelt's legacy. They would also like to hear from, President Trump getting the chance to talk about the current issues of the day and the current issues going on in the world and what, they want to see from the administration at this point in time in history. As I said earlier, this is a pivotal time for the administration as we are in this midterm election. The president just announcing that later this year there's going to be a special Republican national convention for the midterm election. So you can tell that even though there's the immediate purpose of this event of honoring Teddy Roosevelt and celebrating America, there is also the goal of, for the Republicans who are here, sharing their message of why they think that their sitting candidate should be reelected to office.
Joe, have you heard from any of our state delegation at all, or any local leaders about this visit?
Yes, we had the chance to speak with Senator John Hoeven earlier this week. He was in Minot, and he talked about the excitement that this event was bringing to Medora and to North Dakota. The senator said that he spent time with the president. He had dinner with the president earlier this week. Of course, he came on the trip with the president, as our viewers saw earlier, and he said that the president was excited for this trip coming to North Dakota. Earlier today, we also saw that Representative Fedorchak took Air Force One. She shared on social media her journey as well. So our congressional delegation has been very involved with this trip.
I might have asked you this question already once, Joe, but of course we always get newer viewers and it's always good. What is it like to navigate through security? What has that been like through this experience since you started this morning?
Just gonna grab a drink of water here. So it's a hot day here, so it's important for everybody to stay hydrated here. We actually just had some paramedics that went by with a flatbed, so we excuse me for that. So everybody here is trying to stay. Everybody here is trying to stay cool and do the best that they can. Your question about security. So, with regards to security, it's been a very tight operation, I would say, since we got here this morning. You know, we had to drop our equipment off here before this morning when it was still dark, and then we had to leave the arena, and then we had to come back later so that security could do swabs. Just checking here to see if there's something going on. No, I guess not. All right, I'll keep talking about security. Sounded like we were getting a notification here about something. So, oh, hang on. Sounds like we might be getting something here, folks. They just stopped the music for a moment. While we wait for to see what's happening here, we've had to go through multiple levels of security. The media, when we were coming through here, we had to have our bags checked. We had to go to a separate place to get our credentials. With regards to like guests coming through here, go through magnetometers and everything along those lines. And you know, we're in the amphitheater, so we're not seeing what. We were able to, when we came in earlier today, see that some of the streets in downtown Medora is not a huge town, bear in mind. Some of the streets in Medora, you know, were blocked off to, you know, funnel traffic a certain way and protect certain lines of traffic for when the motorcades would be coming through. Whenever you have an event like this, it's a very elaborate thing for security to do. Now, I suppose that there's a benefit for security when you have a town like Medora that is smaller and maybe the streets are easier to control, but the flip side to that, you're in the middle of the Badlands. So the Secret Service has had to secure the area around this arena, and they've had to do that now for weeks on end, so we've been told. You know, you have a lot of open space. This isn't an enclosed arena. I remember back when we covered the convention in Milwaukee in 2024, you know, that's a major metropolitan area, and there's multiple different arteries that were getting to the arena where the convention was taking place. So they had to work with city leaders in a major city in order to barricade certain areas to prevent bad actors from getting inside. You don't necessarily have that with a town like Medora, excuse me, but you know, you still have the added threat of the Badlands surrounding you and making sure that that is all secure, and especially having this open area. A viewer actually shared an interesting photo showing the restricted airspace over the city of Medora. I saw that on social media, and the range in which you can't fly over the area is actually pretty remarkable. But it's understandable because you have a lot of important people here in this setting today. Jay?
Well, thank you, Joe. We're going to give you a bit of a break. You get yourself some ice cold water, cool down just a little bit. We are going to switch it over to the weather desk with meteorologist Megan Chatham. Megan, tell me, what's the weather like? As I can see a little bit smoky there in the background, but what's as far as the temperatures? What are we looking at here?
We do have that nice warm afternoon. It is a little bit on the hazy side because we have that wildfire smoke mainly up in the atmosphere. It hasn't quite settled down to the ground yet, but there is a look at Dickinson. Again, clear skies otherwise, but that hazy clear sky. And those temperatures, again, nice and warm, low 70s in the north where we do have some cloud cover that we'll look at in a minute, but those upper 70s and low 80s in the south where we do have that clearing sky. Now our smoke thickness is heavier in those orange areas, and that does include the Dickinson, Medora area. So again, a little bit of that smoke is sitting around, and some of that is down to that orange level, unhealthy for some, for the air quality, again, towards Medora. So unfortunately, where we do have a lot of people enjoying the afternoon and getting to see this historic day. As we head through the rest of today into tonight and tomorrow, That smoke tries to clear out a little bit, but there it is coming right back again. This is that smoke aloft. Doesn't look like it's settling down to the ground too much as we head into tonight and even through the day tomorrow. And like I mentioned, those clouds a little bit to the north. As we take a look at those, there they are. There's that thicker cloud cover again along the Canadian border. Few clouds filtering through the southern part of the state. Under those clouds, maybe some light rain showers, but where we have everybody outside, it looks like some sunshine, those warm temperatures for the rest of today. For tomorrow, though, unfortunately, another chance of some severe weather, that level 2 out of 5, wind gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour, some very large hail, up to 2 inches in diameter. An isolated tornado is all possible. But again, for the rest of today, we're going to remain on the quiet side with that sunshine. We are keeping the winds mostly light, those temperatures on the warm side. For the day tomorrow, we're going to be nice and warm again, but it's towards the afternoon and evening hours where we could see those thunderstorms start to develop, especially south central and southeastern parts of the state. Looks like, again, some scattered severe storms are possible for tomorrow evening before those clear out for Friday. But again, for the rest of today, some hazy sunshine. We'll keep those temperatures nice and warm. Just another look at Dickinson with that hazy sunshine. But as you can see, those trees are not moving. Again, we do have some more chances of some thunderstorm activity for tomorrow, but for tonight, we should remain pretty clear overall.
Well, Megan, is there any way we can schedule these scattered storms and tornado warnings and watches for after the 4th holiday?
I really wish I could say yes, we can, but we can't control the weather too much.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Of course, we are waiting for President Trump to hit the amphitheater, and while we're waiting for today's program to get underway, this moment is years in the making. Now, the Theodore Roosevelt Library officially opens now later this week. Built in the Badlands, where Roosevelt spent some of his most formative years of his life, he arrived in North Dakota as a young man, grieving and searching for purpose, and left with a vision that would shape his presidency. From conservation to the creation of national parks, today's dedication marks the final step before the public gets its first look at this landmark project, tying together history, place, and the legacy of President who, well, believed deeply in the American West. President Trump's arrival in North Dakota is focused on the dedication of the new Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. Now, the facility gives visitors an inside look at Roosevelt's life. It's in conjunction with America's 250 celebration. KFYR's D.C. Bureau reporter Stephen Goen has more on Roosevelt's legacy and its impact.
Here in Washington, Theodore Roosevelt Island stands as a tribute to our 26th president, but this week there's a new chapter being added to his legacy in North Dakota. For a president who left his stamp on America's foreign policy while also taking on some of the biggest corporate monopolies of his day, it's Theodore Roosevelt's conservation legacy that may be the most enduring. Roosevelt championing these lands and landmarks that still draw millions of visitors each year.
We're glad that he's conserved them. We're glad that his commitment to conservation has allowed us to walk along ancient redwoods. There's some pretty incredible sights.
As president, Roosevelt fought to protect about 230 million acres of public land, creating the U.S. Forest Service. He also established 18 national monuments and 5 national parks during his time in office.
I always thought he was kind of a heroic type person. He was kind of larger than life person in a way. Since I've been to so many national parks, I've always appreciated the things he did for the national parks.
And now there's a new place dedicated to Roosevelt's story. The Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library opens this week in Medora, North Dakota, where Roosevelt spent time ranching as a young man.
He kind of really demonstrates what American independence is all about and spirit. And he said if it hadn't been for his time in North Dakota, he'd never be president.
President Trump is scheduled to attend a dedication ceremony Wednesday, providing a first look at the library, which showcases Roosevelt's life and the work he did that continues to shape America more than a century later. In Washington, I'm Stephen Goen.
All right, as we bring you back here, we are going to get a live look. Is that right, Brian? I think we're heading now to the amphitheater. There you go. There's our live look right now. As we await the remarks from President Trump. Of course, other dignitaries will have an opportunity to speak as well. We are expecting Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. He will at least make a mention as well. And President Trump will be on. Minutes ago, before we go any further, Brian, I just want to pass along. Minutes ago, the President and Secretary Burgum stood facing the pool as Secretary Burgum's voice was heard on speakers reading a famous Man in the Arena excerpt from President Trump's tour of the library that they just, I believe, wrapped up. Their Citizenship in a Republic speech that former President Roosevelt delivered in France back in 1910. Secretary Burgum told the pool of reporters that President of the United States' voice will be heard delivering the excerpt from the museum when it formally opens. And next, Congresswoman Julie Fedorchak was on Air Force One with the president earlier today. Now, she sent out a message on Facebook before boarding the plane.
Today is a really big day for North Dakota, and it's an exciting day for me to be a lone rep for North Dakota in the U.S. House. I'm just about to board the new Air Force One on its inaugural flight, heading to North Dakota with President Trump to dedicate the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. Come along with me.
And of course, as we welcome that permanent fixture in the Medora, Brian, do you want